Well, I just wanted to welcome you here this morning, Nicholas, to Houston, Texas, here at our corporate headquarters.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, great to have you here. While we have some time this morning, can you briefly explain and introduce yourself and your role at Maxwell Oil Tools?
Yes, so hello everyone. I'm Niklas, Senior Drilling Engineer for Maxwell Oil Tools. I've joined approximately 2 years ago as a Senior Drilling Engineer. Before I was actually well site engineer and planning engineer for operator. And then I've actually seen how the tools for Maxwell Oil Tools actually work in the field. And then I saw the opportunity to join. And that's what I did actually.
That's, we were talking this morning when you first got here and having a little coffee, and I, that really struck me as an interesting part of your journey, professional journey, and that you had the operator experience in the North Sea and, transitioning over to the service side, and now, focused on technology and how that dynamic and that relationship back with the operator is so important. And, talking about that, Maxwell has built a reputation around composite and non-metallic downhole technologies. Can you go into that a little bit about, what drove the company to pursue that different approach and, versus, traditional steel, in the casing accessory market?
Yeah, I mean, steel is quite known and all the basically attributes connected to it, all the advantages, disadvantages. Steel has been around for decades, and actually with composite materials, you have the chance to tackle all the disadvantages, to have way more benefits actually when it comes to the material itself, but also if we talk about the shape. So we can, when it comes to material, we can have way better friction reduction, wear resistance, and for the shape, you can make the you have basically for composites unlimited design options, so that it's one smoother in whole. You can address hydraulics, plastering effect when it comes to the design, casing exit windows. So it's all kind of different areas that you can tackle at once.
Mm-hmm. So Maxwell's known for multi-layer composite component technology. Yes. Where do you really see the technology going? And before we even go there, what would you say is the biggest misconception about composite centralizers compared to steel?
Mm-hmm. I think that all the benefits are not like known among the whole industry, and this is what we have to tackle when it comes to the misconception. It's often seen as like a product that might deliver, for example, friction reduction, but it's not so good when it comes to wear. But we have a product that is really superior in both areas, and at the same time, our design is really good also for the topics like hydraulics and smooth casing running. And when it comes to this multi-layer composite that we have, I mean, we bake it together under pressure and temperature, and this outer layer really provides then all the really good benefits when it comes to running in whole. And at the same time, we see the operational benefits with the design that we have.
Yep. So you mentioned operational benefits. One of the things that about OSP, we have a very strong background and support group around well construction. And a lot of times we get involved with the operator much sooner in the drilling phase, more in the planning scope, to where we can get involved and talk about torque and drag modeling, centralizer placement, real narrow pore pressure frac gradients where you're looking at surge tools and, those type of technologies. So when we're talking to the operator up front and we're having conversations about, running in hole, tight tolerance, casing while drilling, can you go into a little bit about the conversations that you guys are having up front that are really providing the value creation and being planned in way before the rig gets to location?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I'm involved both in the product development, but also then always really early involved in the technical discussions with our clients and operators. So actually, we get the information from the well planning quite early in the stage of the planning, and then we have a precise look and do the simulations, be it torque and drag, be it the hydraulics, be it the standoff and the cementation, so that we can really, in the early stage of the planning phase, show actually what are the benefits in the particular areas. And then at the same time, we also always to close the whole circle. We have a look afterwards to get the post-one data, take the learnings, and implement them for the next well, basically.
Sure. So you talk about reduction in friction, improved casing placement, obviously reducing rig time, protecting the well bore, casing integrity. Where do you really see the benefits here recently? We've experienced some success here in the Gulf, in deep water. Where do you see the application in some of the composite jobs that that we're being a part of now? And what's the kind of the post-mortem? Where do you see the benefit and where are guys starting to plan it in better and then use it in other applications?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest benefit when it comes to the whole product is, I guess, the friction reduction effect. That we have friction reduction that you cannot find in the market anywhere else. With a friction reduction coefficient that we achieve, and then at the same time we have a product that it's extremely robust, so you can use it for casing while drilling applications where other composite materials actually would not do the job. And then at the same time, besides the material aspect, we have the design, which is then suitable for better ECD, equivalent circulation density, or when it comes to search and swap, so that you can be way more confident when you run in hole, that you can really push to the limits and have really good operational performance. And then in the end, also with a standoff and the better fluid bypass to achieve a way better cement job. So it's basically the whole value chain from running in hole more smoothly, having a better cement job, but then also applications like casing while drilling where you actually really push the boundaries of what's possible with centralizers at the moment.
So you bring up a good point, and I think that's why this partnership is so unique, because we are very focused on that customer-centric well construction solution. Yep. And for us, at the end of the day, our biggest focus outside of safety and quality is really getting that primary cement job, and then building that confidence, as we continue to drill ahead. And, you talk about the partnership, from your perspective, what makes the partnership with OSP so important and so unique for Maxwell, especially here in the U.S. and in the Gulf?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I see it as a really good strategic fit that we work together in a partnership, because you have the localized experience and expertise here in the U.S. market, and you know exactly where actually our products would fit best in which projects, and where actually the drilling engineers or the people who plan the well have actually the problems and challenges, and then we can address it together. So this would be the whole in the planning phase, but then also to have you as a partner when it comes to effective installation of our centralizers and the whole logistics, to have this all like really smooth and effective.
Absolutely. And, that's where, we talk about, facilities and operational proximity, which, really helps accelerate the adoption of new technologies. Talk about other partnerships that we have outside of well construction. But in this scenario, where do you see the strongest opportunities in this collaboration here in the Western Hemisphere in the U.S.?
Like area-wise, I would say the offshore is the biggest opportunity for the moment, but also onshore. If you see, I mean, centralizers are barely used sometimes here onshore in the US, and there's so much potential actually. So if the knowledge is better understood what centralizers as such can bring, but then on top what the composite centralizers can bring, then I guess there's also a large opportunity, especially in the unconventional area, be it the centralizers we have, but also like drill pipe protectors, which can enable with the same friction reduction that you can actually, for example, drill out frac plugs way more efficiently and reach distances where you actually normally have then the dissolvable frac plugs. And there's also, I see a big opportunity, but for the moment, the biggest chance is, I guess, in the offshore industry.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. When you look at the industry and the outlook, wells, they become, definitely more complex. You start talking about unconventionals, the effect of U-laterals that they're having on the economics of the shale business. Obviously we speak about offshore. That's such a huge market, a lot of deeper, higher pressure, longer reach, a lot more directional work, through more complex, drilling challenges. Maxwell has been expanding globally, investing in manufacturing, engineering capabilities. What developments should the industry watch for over the next couple months from Maxwell, and where do you see that really taking us, expanding the markets that we're already in and seeing some success?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, we know that our centralizers and drill pipe protectors, they are in the market for like a long time now, so it's not in the innovation part anymore, even though people still see it as an innovation because it's pushing the boundaries. But we took all the learnings from the material science that we have, and we came up with a variety of different new products in the innovation area where we had successful first field ones, be it basically composite noses, be it encapsulation tools, cable line protectors, be it like a fluid delivery system where you have a composite tool that can effectively place like a resin plug in the hole as a specific location. Or a really huge opportunity that we see is carbon fiber tubulars or non-metallic tubulars, where we have all the learnings and we take it step by step, and we actually see that based on our expertise that we are on a success route where others just go the wrong way actually and go straight to what might be the cheapest option that you can sell, but not like the really best product that can deliver performance.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because, as we both know, when we, in the technology realm and the fact that, we have obviously the service side that accompanies that, when you look at that collaboration, you still have to really bring a value proposition to the client, right? They have to see value creation through the technology, or it's really hard to get in the ground. I like the fact that your perspective is, really having several options to complete the task and having that standard, and then also having that premium, product that can, meet the objective. So, it is interesting to hear that. I know we don't have a whole lot of time here this morning, and I know you're getting on a plane here soon, headed back east. But in closing, if an operator is really struggling with torque and drag and tight tolerance drilling, what would be the first recommendation, the thing that you would like to leave with them about Maxwell's ability to support those challenges?
Yeah. I mean, the best thing is just to get in touch with us via you or directly with us, so that we can actually have in the early planning phase really have a look what's the challenges in the upcoming well. Then we show what would be the best solution, and then it's up to the operator if they can decide if it's worth to try. I mean, we have a track record that we know that the product is really reliable, that it reduces NPT, that we do not have a lot of non-conformities, so that the product is really what it's also states on the paper. And we have case studies that prove all of this.
Niklas, I love the fact that you really kind of jump back to the runs and the performance, and that's the thing is when you're playing with technology, people do not like being number one typically. And the fact that you have really good data, you're collecting data, you're really seeing where it goes, the analytics side, and how it can better improve performance, and the fact that you have so many runs globally that really give us the confidence to come here in Deepwater Gulf and perform at a high level. So one last question before you go, something that we definitely didn't talk about, but you've traveled all over. You got friends in a lot of different countries. We talked a little bit about school and early in your career. Coming to Texas, what's the experience like when you come to Texas, and what do you enjoy most about being here?
Yeah, really good question. I mean, I really like traveling. I've been in my early career after university. I've barely always been in the North Sea sector, be it in Norway on semi-submersibles, be it in the Netherlands on jack-up rigs, or then in the UK, or even land rigs in Germany. And I've seen like a lot of different things. But what I like here is that there's always this drive for innovation, that you really try to push the boundaries in wells, and this is also the attitude that we have as a company, and that's why it's always good to be here, because you have people that really want to move things and want to get things done. And,
I appreciate that, and the fact that you say that, I hope you know that you're very welcome here.
Yeah.
I look forward to bringing you over to Louisiana and G-Talk next trip, and seeing some more of these applied to pipe in the near future. And just thank you again for your time today. Appreciate you coming in, and safe travels back home, Niklas.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Take care.
Yeah.